Hello, I am Lisa Goodwin, and I am part of the leadership team here at Crescent Heights Baptist Church. He has been showing me that he truly is El Ra'i, which is an Old Testament name for God that means the God who sees me. And he's really been showing me that he really does see each and every one of us and hears each and every one of us in the midst of whatever we're going through, good, bad, pandemic, normal life. He really is the God who sees. He's also shown me through the Bible in a Year group and are reading both Old and New Testament at the same time that he is incredibly intentional and that he has literally moved time and history to repair the relationship that humankind through Adam and Eve broke with him. He's also shown me that whether we are an academic or a pastor, an artist, a craftsman, a teacher, whatever, that all of those things are part of who he is. And because we're made in his image, all of those things are to be valued, and that not one is better or more valuable than the other, and that we're to just honor all of them. And in doing that, we get a better understanding of who God is. So this COVID pandemic has really thrown me and my family for a bit of a loop. Working in education and having 3 kids in school, it has been very on again, off again. I've been through 3 isolations. I've missed 2 just by sheer coincidence of not being in the classroom that day, even though I work with those classrooms. My job keeps changing, whether we are online or in school or online or in school. I was laid off last May as part of the provincial-wide layoff of education assistants. And for the first time ever in my life, in 46 years, I didn't get to celebrate birthday or any of our holidays with my twin sister and our other sister and families. So that's been a real struggle. But in the midst of all of it, things that we have tried to do to keep mental health as level as we can. I've been spending a lot more time with our kids, which has been great. We've kind of got this tradition now of playing games. We are spending a lot more time being creative, sewing, knitting, crocheting. I built a greenhouse on my last isolation, doing a lot more hiking and walking, except for last year when I broke my foot because I was walking so much due to the pandemic. I'm also gotten into a really good routine of reading scripture and praying, and I'm actually reading more, not just scripture, but other books to just help me in communication and all of that, because when there's 5 of you living in a house all the time now, not going out to work and coming back, that communication is really important. And we're also being really deliberate about seeking help and keeping mental health in the forefront, because it actually has been a really rough year for the 5 of us. God, over the last 2-3 years, but especially the last year of the pandemic, has really renewed a desire in me to be on mission for him, just like I experienced 30 years ago when I became a believer and a Christ follower. And that means not just to care for people by doing things like making meals or that kind of thing, which I love to do, but also to be talking with people and listening to them. I love to talk, as many people might know, but it's very difficult for me to listen. But I also find people really intimidating. So for me to want to call people that I'm not terribly familiar with and just chat with them and see how they're going with all of this, that's really a God thing. So that's something that God has been making more available in me, and also a renewed desire to learn from him and to be disciplined by him and those that he has chosen to put around me that provide wisdom. And that's been really good and painful. And he's also been making me available for tough conversations. One of my gifts that I've always loved is teaching, whether that's actually teaching in a classroom, being paid for being a teacher, or just leading a Bible study, or helping my kids' scout troop with learning knots or whatever. So one of the gifts that God has equipped me with is teaching. I also love languages. I'm looking up where words come from, their etymologies, and how they've changed over time. And so that researchy language thing, I think, is a gift and a talent that I've used to help explain things. Maybe that seem weird in the Bible because of the language. I'm also gifted and love hospitality and cooking and baking for other people when allowed. And then the latest thing that he's equipped me with to help for the service in the church is I've gotten really good at Zoom. So I'm kind of become the go-to Zoom master in the congregation. One of the hopes and prayers that I have for our church moving forward is a renewed excitement and drive, intentionality to be on mission for God, not just meeting in person for Bible study and for worship, but actually going out and being on mission for God, whether that's having tough conversations or making meals and taking them down to Hope Mission or whatever, just being on mission for God. And then also that new journey groups would begin to develop out of those conversations that people are having and people meeting together with their neighbors and their friends, and what is it that they need to learn and grow together in. Something for people to know about me is that I really don't do well with change. And so this year's been really a struggle because there's been change left, right, and center. But despite that, and yet people of the pandemic, our family doesn't seem to be getting enough change. Tim, my husband, is 54 and is the newest pastoral intern at Crescent Heights Baptist Church and is studying to be in pastoral ministry after 31 years in the sales force. I am taking a course in numeracy in the elementary classroom and applying to go back into teaching full time. Our oldest, who's at home, is 18 and graduating. So there's 5 of us in school, 3 of us making big shifts in our lives. And did I mention I'm not a real fan of change? So this has got to be a God thing.